All right. It's Mike and Abbott with another Mike's Minutes. Hope you are doing fantastic today. We got another beautiful day in the Carolinas, and going to make the most of it. That's for sure. Now today we're going to continue in our discussions from the article by Brianna Weiss, the 18 things you need to give up to become a high-achieving person. So I'll just read this in a days about, are your excuses keeping you from your destiny? Are your excuses keeping you from your destiny? Okay, so here's the quote from Brianna Weiss. It's okay to want to explain why you aren't where you want to be, but you also have to realize that justifying it won't get you there any faster. Hey, Terry, thanks for watching. In life, you either do or you don't. You either waste time placating yourself into stagnancy, or you get honest about where you are and make the change. The validity of your excuses only serves to make you temporarily feel better about why you aren't doing what you need and you know you want and need to do at that time. So that is from Brianna Weiss. Now, so here's the questions. We got some questions we need to deal with. So how many times in your life have excuses held you back from your best? How many? Count them up. How many times daily do you make an excuse for not doing something that we know we should be doing? How many times have we made yet another excuse to not execute on an action that we know is on our to-do list because we wrote it down on the to-do list, but yet we'll make an excuse not to do it? It's amazing. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so I know for me, this kind of stuff started early. You know, you make an excuse of why you can't do a chore that your parents gave you for that day, or you have an assignment from your teacher and you don't want to do it, so you make up some excuse. The dog ate it, right, Terry? You know, we make up an excuse, and those of us that were teachers remember some of those excuses that our kids made. And of course, you know, when we think back, we know we did the same thing. Hey, Chad, thanks for joining. So anyway, the roots of personal responsibility. Now, I'll rephrase this. The roots of this personal responsibility disease runs deep, right? And oftentimes, excuse-itis will require some major surgery. I was thinking about, you know, what happened yesterday. You know, it's so easy to make an excuse and not do something that you know you need to do. So yesterday, it was getting a little bit later in the day, and, you know, I was thinking, you know, that little excuse-itis thing comes in. Now, you know, it's getting late in the day, so it's probably not the best time to go out cold calling on businesses. It would probably be better if I just wait till tomorrow. You know, I'll just go ahead, instead of going out and doing the hard things, maybe I'll go work out. And I'll call that prospecting. So I'll go work out and I'll call that prospecting, and I'll come back home and I'll feel better about things because, you know, I went out prospecting. So rather than going out, you know, the fight, the battle that was taking place was to go out and do that difficult thing, that thing that, you know, when you go cold calling on businesses, you know there's a pretty good chance of rejection, right? But it would be a whole lot easier to do the easy thing, like just maybe to stay at home and do those safe things on the computer. Or, you know, go work out where you're around other people and you can call it prospecting, even though you may not even talk to anybody. but you can still call that prospecting. So it's real easy for us to make up those excuses in our head to avoid those things that may be the more difficult things to do. So, growing up, at some point when we decide to grow up a little bit, we have to decide that, this excuse-itis thing is holding us back, and we need to make certain changes and take responsibility for the things that we know we need to get done on a daily basis. Those things that have a much higher priority, or should have a much higher priority on our list of things to do and accomplish. And most often, we've actually written those things down. I know I have. I'll go through, I've got my game plan for today, and here's my things that I want to do, the top 3 things that I want to execute for the day. And boy, it's amazing how those things are the most difficult things to do, and the things that we want to avoid the most. But yet we know those are the most critical things we need to accomplish. So, it's just one of these things where if you allow yourself time, and this is why I'm going to recommend a book. If you struggle with, excuse-itis, this personal responsibility disease. If you struggle with that, I'd recommend a book for you. It's The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. And it's a 5-second rule. Basically she says when it's time to make a decision, you count back from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it actually triggers something in you to go ahead and take action. And what I found happening with me as I try to implement the things she talks about in her book is that before you don't give yourself time to start thinking up of all these excuses for why you shouldn't do these things. So as soon as there's a decision point, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, do it. Take action on it. And that's what I did yesterday. Those thoughts start popping in my head. I count back 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I went out the door. I had my flyers in hand. I had everything I needed to go out and do that cold calling on businesses yesterday. So I ended up, as a result, instead of the other easy things to do, I walked out the door and I went out and I did the things that I knew was a priority for the day and got it done. And, and yes, there was definitely some times in that day where it was a little bit challenging walking into that business, and you could tell by the expression on the person's face that they really didn't want to be bothered. Which oftentimes, I was a business. I had a facility. I had, a physical place, and it's amazing. We have a choice of being rude, or we don't, or we can be pleasant and handle things because you never know. But anyway, it felt really good to get back home knowing that I had accomplished that thing that was at the top of my to-do list. But again, Brian Tracy talks about eat that frog first. That thing that's the most difficult thing that you need to do, tackle it first. And, unfortunately, I didn't tackle that first thing yesterday morning. I kind of got caught in a rabbit hole trying to do some stuff rather than doing that most difficult thing first. And then what happens is that excuse-itis comes in as time rolls on, and that thing that you should have done first, you put off. And excuse-itis can jump right in. So, again, the main thing for us to remember is that we have to take responsibility, get rid of these wimpy excuses of why we're not doing the things that are most important on our to-do list and getting it done. And you know this. You know that you can do that thing on your to-do list. You can do it. You know you can. Yeah, it may be a little bit challenging, but It's the thing that you need to do. So, like for me, if you're in business for yourself, what are you going to do? You need to focus on those money-making activities that are always the most challenging to get done. But you have to get past the wimpiness and get past the excuse-itis and make the decision to get it done. And, you know, we can make it happen. So here's the thing for today. For any of you listening today, or when you hear this, make the decision that you're going to get it done. You're going to look at those top 3 priorities of your day that you need to get accomplished, and you're going to get those things done. No excuses. No excuses allowed, because it's holding you back from being the best person you can be. And we have to ask ourselves, and this is a challenging question that we need to ask every day. Today, did I do my absolute best? Did I give it my absolute best today? You have to ask yourself that question. And you have to be able to go and say, okay, and be honest with yourself and say to yourself, I didn't give it my best today. I held back. I did not give it my all. Why did you do that? What was inside of you? Was it excuse-itis that got in the way of you giving it your best today? Because that's what we've got to ask ourselves at the end of each day. Did I give it my best? And if not, why? What was it that I was fearful of? What was holding me back? What was the excuse I made for not giving today my very best? So folks, don't let excuses hold you back or keep you from your destiny. Your destiny can change everybody in your circle of influence. If you fulfill what you've been created to do, how will that change the people in your circle of influence? How is that going to change them? It's going to have an impact. All right, so today our assignment is to go live out your best. Be your best. Give it your best. Give it all you've got. No excuses. And you will have victory in that day, in the day that you've got. Don't think about tomorrow. Think about right now, today, and get it done. No excuses. Get rid of excuse-itis and be the victory. All right, folks, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Have a fantastic day. The notes will be posted up on my blog, so you can get the notes, and the video and all that will be updated as well. So, hey, share it with somebody if you think they can benefit. Write a comment, say hello, and I appreciate all of you taking your time to be here today. Thanks again. Hey, Lisa. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.